SeaWorld will be opening the first of its kind surf coaster in 2023, aptly named Pipeline the Surf Coaster. It's going to be built by B&M and be a stand-up launch coaster. This is a super interesting concept, and right now it is unclear if any more will be built in the future. Assuming it does catch on, I'm going to give 5 potential parks that would make great candidates. Let's get into it. Before I get into the choices, there were a couple things that I looked at to make these decisions. My choices were mainly based on roller coaster lineup, park manufacturer relations, and available space. Some other things may come up, but those are the key topics. Without further ado, my first candidate to receive a B&M surf coaster is Happy Valley Shanghai. I don't know a whole ton about this park, especially with it being in China. However, it fits a lot of the criteria and makes sense. The park opened in 2009 with 5 coasters and added a family inverted coaster in 2014. From then, there have been 0 new coasters. By the time they would add a new coaster, we are looking at about a 10-year gap. Compared to some of the other parks in the Happy Valley chain, this one seems to be next up. And talking about the franchise, they have worked with B&M in the past. Actually, Shanghai in particular has a B&M dive coaster. Some of the others include smaller family coasters, a mega light, and a mine train. There is neither a stand-up or a launch coaster at the park, something the surf coaster could fix in one swing. Plus, the park has a lot of open area where a sprawling surf coaster could fit. There's even water the coaster could coast along, really fitting the surf coaster vibe. My main problem is how unfamiliar I am with the park. Everything I said can be found by doing some simple research. I don't have any rumor knowledge or any prior experience to back up these claims, something I will have for other candidates moving forward. But I still think it's possible, so the park gets on the list. At number 4, I have a more likely outlier, Six Flags New England. Of course, with the opening of Dr. Diabolical at Six Flags Fiesta Texas, I'm going to take the opportunity to say the 2 companies, that being Six Flags and B&M, are willing to work together on more projects. So I searched across the Six Flags parks to find a good fit. I would argue New England is a middle tier park in the chain. It doesn't get all the love, but it's not neglected either. Their last coaster was in 2017, so we're going on 6 years without a new addition. I think it's time. The park also removed one of its 2 boomerangs, Goliath. This freed up a good chunk of area the coaster could potentially use. That checks the space box. And if you look at the park's lineup, both the launch and stand-up are not included. The launch is a major missing component to complete the theme park, so the park could kill multiple birds with one stone. A new coaster, one of a kind, a launch, and a stand-up. The only limiter to this Six Flags park is cost, but I think it's still a possibility, so I put it on the list. Coming in at my 50-50 option on the list, in number 3 I have Valley Fair. A while ago, I released a video on reasons this park should receive a B&M inverted coaster. This seems to have been the thinking for a very long time, and it has never happened. But this park hasn't gotten a new coaster in over 10 years, so it makes it hard to put it as a candidate for anything. However, I wanted to include Cedar Fair Park because the chain has a really good relationship with B&M. Seeing the chain's new for 2022 investments, there were 2 parks that I wanted to include on this list. The next pick will be the second one, but right now, I'm focusing on Valley Fair. So quickly, looking at the coaster lineup, they don't have a launch coaster or a stand-up coaster. This makes the ideal conditions for a surf coaster. There's also the space available, so I don't see why this park is not a candidate. Receiving a coaster as unique as a surf coaster could be the investment that kickstarts a new era for the park. Alright, so one of the more likely candidates I have on the list is King's Dominion, coming in at number 2. Like the last pick, this park is under the Cedar Fair franchise, which we know has a good relationship with B&M. King's Dominion is in a really weird position with its coasters. The park seems to be losing more than it's gaining, but everyone is expecting a huge addition as Volcano's replacement. Tumbili is just the beginning. The question remains, what is that coaster coming? It was leaked forever ago that it would be a winged coaster. That seemed to have fallen off though, so why not replace a one-of-a-kind coaster with another one-of-a-kind coaster? I'm gonna stack another scenario on top of this. Imagine the winged coaster comes to fruition as Volcano's replacement. Anaconda is where I look next. The coaster is said to be on its last leg, and the location may make more sense next to the water. Overall, I think the surf coaster could be a possibility, and because of their current situation, it's more likely than the other parks so far. And this leads me to my number 1 candidate to get a B&M surf coaster, SeaWorld San Antonio. Of course, there had to be a park within the same franchise as the original coaster. If the surf coaster does very well at SeaWorld Orlando, why wouldn't the chain reinvest in a similar project? We've seen this done with the Skyrocket 2s, including Tigress, Tempesto, and Electric Eel. That takes more than care of the manufacturer relationship. The question now became, what park would they choose? For this, I looked at the roller coaster lineups. All 5 of their parks have a launch coaster of some sort. I was able to rule out the Busch Gardens parks because they both have a family launch coaster in Cheetah Hunt and Verbolten. Plus, Tampa is too close to Orlando. That narrowed the search a little bit. Now we're down to 2. SeaWorld San Diego also has a great mock family coaster. This pushed me to look at SeaWorld San Antonio. At first glance, it may not seem to work, but Wavebreaker is a very tame launch coaster. Even with a new launch log flume coming soon, a more intense B&M launch coaster could do this park wonders. It would give this park an insane standout coaster that is very different from any coaster at the park and very different to the competition at Six Flags Fiesta Texas. And I did find a couple plots of land that may work, so space shouldn't be a problem. To me, this situation makes the most sense out of all the candidates, and we could see a surf coaster in the next couple of years at SeaWorld San Antonio. So that's going to do it for my top 5 candidates to get a B&M surf coaster soon. What do you think of my candidates? Let me know in the comments below. If you liked the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.